Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to the Women's Week music performances and poetry at J Street Radio Hour. My name is Jennifer Trowbridge, and I'm going to play some of my favorite pieces for the classical guitar for you today. And I'm going to start with a samba-inspired piece by my friend Emily Remler. She called it E-Samba. And I wish that you all could see the view that I have right now. I can see over to these hills of redwoods, and it's this beautiful blue and gray, like a painting. It's nice. Usually when I'm here, it's dark out, so it's nice to see it with a little bit of sun here. This is the Villalobos Etude number 11.
Thank you again for coming to the Sanctuary Arcata J Street Radio Hour Women's Week with music and poetry. And I'm Jennifer Trowbridge, and this is my Jim Bauer guitar. So one of my good friends here. Jim Bauer is a good friend, but also this guitar. And the next piece I'll play for you is by the Cuban composer Leo Brouwer. And this is one movement from his sonata called El Decameron Negro. And the English translation of the title of this piece is The Lovers Galloping in the Valley of the Echoes.
I don't know if you guys could hear the little birds tweeting in the background. That was fun for me to hear, being in the valley. And the next in my list of favorites here, this next one is called Asturias by Itzhak Albanez, and it was written for the piano, but in imitation of a guitar, a lot of guitar-like textures. So this is a guitar transcription of that piano piece. So it's a guitar imitating a piano, imitating a guitar. I don't know if you like playing along with that bird. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it. It might not be coming through the condenser mics here, but it sounds like wah, 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 wah. Okay, I'm just going to play along. This would be like polymetric.
Thank you. All right. So we have time for one more here. This is going to be called Last Tremolo, and it's by Augustine Barrios Mongaray. And next up, we have poet Vanessa Vrtiak. She'll be reading her poetry, so please stay tuned.
Okay, I'm on now. Okay. All right. So, hello, everyone. How funny. I did not know it was on. Good thing I didn't pick my nose. Bam. So, hi, I'm Vanessa Vrtiak. I am a co-founder of A Reason to Listen. And I'm going to be reading to you some poems from my latest book called Kissing Lightning. And I'm very honored to be here tonight. So with that, my first poem is called You. Give me just 1 second. My pages are stuck together. Okay. Before there were sunflowers and cherry dresses, before fancy hats being tricked into eating deer by calling it venison, before trampolines and playgrounds and wild horses and scavenger hunts and blackberry bushes, before waiting on my swing set for his arrival, before screaming goodnight to the moon and walking myself into her arms with any hope I had left, before loneliness, before truth, before learning who the devil is, before knowing that trees can't talk back to you and summer is a season and it can't be someone's lover, before snowflakes kiss tongues and the smell of fresh cut grass on the last day of school, before 50-50 bars and bicycles, before being told I wish you were never born, before finding out that your father beat her, just like your sister's father, and that all men are addicted to drumming their hands on your mother's face, before wondering if your hands hold the same blood and can play the same patterns for the same reasons, before the fear of men. They chased you with cigarettes in their mouths, your scream freshly frozen in the night air. Before knowing that when you cry, she may not come to meet your needs. You will need to meet your own needs. You will need to learn how to trust in others, how to give someone your sweet, molten cake of a heart before loss of belief, before self-worth melted into the corners of fingers that ached for your own touch, was you. You were 10 pounds. A big, beautiful, healthy girl with eyes wider than the Great Plains, filled with unfathomable promise. You resonated with intuition. It poured out of you when you met strangers, when you carried the scent of your mother in the folds of your neck. A karmic redo, a promise from God that you held all that you needed to know. Thank you. So I want to say, a couple things about that poem as I try and stumble on to finding the next one. I know that this event, this special event with Sanctuary, is affiliated with the Zero to Fierce event that Jackie from Arcata Playhouse and many others work very hard to put on. And I just feel like so grateful as a woman to be a part of this. And in the poem I just mentioned, before the fear of being chased by men. I grew up in this community. I grew up in McKinleyville, which for a long time was really hard for me to say. I was not proud of that. And I had at least 4 experiences where I was in high school, middle school, and elementary school, where I was full on chased by a stranger. Different strangers, but always men. And I have a poem that I'm going to read about that a little bit later, but I just really want to hold space for that and for all the women that have been victims of violence, whether it's from men or any other gender identity. I see you and I feel you and I love you, and I hope that you can heal. And it is a journey and it takes time. So today is my nephew's birthday, and so I felt like this poem would be appropriate. It's for my younger sister. My chérie amour. Had I known that one day I would look back and you would not be here, what would I have said? How could I have savored more of you? Your wispy light, your Tinkerbell insides, your fingernail beds covered in dirt, feet sponged in earth. What would I have said? I would definitely take back telling you how much I hated when you copied me. You wanted to have the same clothes, you loved the same music. I was your muse. Dance moves mimicked rosy posy. You were the greatest form of flattery. Did I love you impossibly? Protect you too much? How could I keep you from a mother that wanted to be your friend? That introduced you to a love that resembled powdered sugar? Give you a shorter amount of time? How could I protect you from her? How could I stop your body from burning spirit, your eyes church windows? We believed that we were gods. We laughed like we were too. Even when people could smell the pour on us and see our hands sprinkled with warts, our mouths home to more metal fillings than we could count. Sometimes we were mean girls because pain could transfer easily onto the faces of others. But sometimes we were heroes especially to the other poor kids on the playground with high waters and ripped up Reeboks, glitterless expressions filled with longing, usually without parents. Children that had yet to become acquainted with drugs. They were ours. Most of them now dead or missing their larger puzzle pieces. Sometimes we fed ourselves the pain because that's what we do. We consume it till we're a walking lightning storm, freeing ourselves in a fury when there are not enough veins left to resurrect and we are out of places to run. So she is revived here in this poem where I have no idea what I should attempt to say to you now. Now that we are grown, leading our own lives, and you refuse to answer my calls. Should I ask you if loneliness travels through genes? What was that train ride like? Was your belly full, but you kept going? Did you repair that hole in your heart that keeps leaking out your loveliness? Can we stop your youth from disappearing? Which necks are your hands wrapped around now? Is addiction the result of your chaos? Is it the right amount of enslavement? Are we past the point of no return? But since you are my sister, I will try a softer approach. Do you remember what Mom said? That all we have is one another. That someday there's this chance that the world will turn its back on us, but we should not turn our backs on each other. So I'm here, hoping you'll come to your senses and see that we have not lost one another. You are the part of myself that I hope one day to return to. The sweet part that believes we're God's. Thank you. Oh, man. I wish I had an audience. Oh, I thought my cat was going to be in here. I've had meetings this week and she likes to sit like right here. She'll like look right into the camera, which is pretty hilarious. So I don't even have her company tonight, but I hope some of you are out there are listening, and if you are, I really appreciate it. So thank you. So I'm gonna read. I think I'm going to mix it up. I want to do something about my body. So also in honor of this event, so many of us are so obsessed with our bodies, myself included. I am guilty of that, and I am guilty of like being obsessed with skin cream, and I'm not so concerned with gray hair, but it's so funny how it's so ingrained in us. And so I've been really reflecting on that. I have a girls group that I run at the McKinleyville Middle School, and I'm constantly thinking of how I'm a role model for these young women. And yeah, so it's a work in progress. So that's going to be my next piece. It's called The Dialogue with My Body. And if this were live, I would hope people would be like hooting and hollering. Like, we always have so much banter at our event. Pre-COVID, my friend Therese Fitzmaurice and I have been, and Jeremiah Anderson from A Reason to Listen, and Annie Fricky have been doing an event for about 11 plus years, I think 15 years, at the Siren Song and then the Axton Gallery. So we always have like all this banter and wild energy. So I'm definitely missing that right now. Okay. to walk on a 12 incline for 45 minutes each day to drown out the sorrow. You need to do at least 100 sit-ups. Sit up. I can't have you falling down. You need to fall in line, body. Fall in line. You need to be good. And go back to bone. Strip down to bone. Burn the fat off the skin, the extra. You need to stop being so goddamn extra. You're like your mother, squeezing those soft spots on your thighs. She had these strong, thick, tree trunk legs, and they were smack down in the middle of the earth so she wouldn't float away. And this beautiful belly that you came out of, your first home. See how she hates herself? See how her middle causes her more grief than light. Here come the tears. Tell them to stop. There are greater things you can cry for than a body you just don't love. You too can be paper thin, translucent, if you just try hard enough. Maybe people will be able to see right through you. You've always weighed the most. Remember that field trip to the post office in the 2nd grade? You were precious cargo. You stepped right on that big scale with all the packages. The first time you ever weighed yourself. The scale mistaked you for first-class mail. You can be first class when you want to be. 86 pounds in the 2nd grade tells me that you don't want to be. Do you want to be? Every spot you can pinch is something that needs to be taken from you. Take it. This extra flesh is proof that you have too much food lying around. If only you saw yourself as lucky enough to eat it. To eat for you is a free choice. Do you see how lucky you are? You could be living off of a grain of rice. Remember, rice is something that you know that doesn't come up your throat easily. You had size C breasts in 7th grade. There were these 2 hideous see-through bags of skin growing on your body, and you started taping them. You wanted to be flat, flat, flat. You still want to be flat, 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 like the way we thought the earth was, except now we know the moon is there, which means sometimes things are not always the way they appear. Now, if only you could use some of that logic to know that your body is celestial, capable of creating another human being and touching the infinite of the universe inside out, not outside in. Thank you. Okay, so checking my time. Someone that I really admire is Eve Ensler, and she's done a lot of incredible work. I'm sure as many of you are listening know the Vagina Monologues. To name another one is The Good Body, and I had the honor of doing The Good Body and this play called Any One of Us about women in prison prior to COVID. Now that's going to be like the marker. I'll have to stop saying that. But I highly recommend the play The Good Body if you have not read it or heard it, if you're looking for more on a topic like that. So I'm going to read, I'm going to switch gears a little bit into love. And this poem is probably the most recent poem I've written. and it's called Things My Parents Taught Me About Love. One, they tell you they love you. Even if they cook you soul food and caress your heart with sweet honey words, they're just pretending. Because why would anyone love you? Two, having a child will not make someone stay. The loneliness that was felt before the baby will still be there, and it will eat at you like moths eat at your favorite sweater. Three, volcanoes can live indoors and under human skin. They are hungry for explosions. They exist to ravage. And sometimes the best thing to do is let them erupt. Four, when two people have childhood trauma, it's hard to tell who is speaking, the damage or the insecurities. Five, one parent will always have all the power. They will stand up and leave. They will take you with them. They will relocate to a small beach town and turn off the phone when they feel like it. Six, you are half of each of them. Not just his eyes, her mouth, but his rage, her sorrow. You are the living pain pattern passed on from generation to generation. Seven, you can break the chain. Eight, sometimes your parents will mistake you for each other. They will call you John. John will confuse you with Renee. He hasn't heard your voice in over 20, rasp a glass of Merlot thrown into an electric fence. He will demand that you put his daughter on the phone. 9, violence thrives when perfectly planted in the corners of a bedroom, on a human tongue, in a balled fist. It can be small or as bright and mighty as a star. 10, you are the one expected to resonate with love. You can always leave the lights on inside your mouth. Your smile can still be the resolve. Thank you. Oh, it's so hard to tell if all of this is working. I think it is. So, yeah, and to speak to what I just said, it's really hard to break those patterns, and it's incredible how the gift of relationships, and they really teach us how to deal with our stuff, right? How to deal with our childhood trauma, and that's really something I'm resonating on. So, okay. I'm gonna do the formula. So this poem is a love poem because I'm getting near to the end of my time, and I want to end with you all on a higher note. If you like my poetry, or you would like a copy of my book, Kissing Lightning, which I strategically placed behind me in my other book, thought that'd be a better background. They are available on areasontolisten.com. So, and this is the formula. There is a formula to love. Wait at least 3 days before you call them back. Don't be too available. Don't give it all away. Your disinterest is amusing. Don't show the crazy. Don't peek at the freedom in blood, the empty cavalier that tends to run itself down the corners of your mouth. Give him more than he's used to. Let him fill his pockets with the crushed rocks of the men before him. Don't mention the men before him. Brush your body like a paintbrush against his crotch. Feel the fire you both started. Let it be the reason you go searching. Let it be the reason he dropped the umbrella in the thunderstorm to kiss you. Felt the rain splatter and the switchblades of your lips. Let his tongue be the windshield wiper to all the dirt that has touched your soul. Hear him use your name in the rhythm of a siren song. Let it circumvent the sound of your breath. Let it run through you like wild geese. Know that in that moment, you were just as intended. So lovely the world stopped to notice you both. There will be more youth than you will know what to do with. Let it rest in the space between bones and calloused feet. Flex the muscles of your heart that you never knew were there. Sponge all the God from his body. Take every drop. Save it for when you are out of courage. Use the laughter you both shared to gather more youth than any smile can contain. Hands tracing all the want, all the need, all the grain, all the stitches, all the 4th of July fireworks burning at the ends of our fingertips. Give him the lava that runs red surge by the walk heavy. Give him what's left of the star that you both came from, and realize that there is a formula to love. Just watch as he lays his body down like a tree trunk, catching the light in the bird's nest behind your ear, creating more vulnerability than you know what to do with. Because we never know when love will come, heavy-footed to our very own door, asking us to lean in, sway the body, return the phone call, surrender to the gentle chaos of just letting go. Thank you. So thank you everyone for listening. Again, my name is Vanessa Vrtiak. I am the co-founder of A Reason to Listen. I'm also a social worker and a criminal justice activist in our community, the community of Humboldt County. And I appreciate all of you for listening. For more information, you can find me on areasontolisten.com. Have a beautiful evening.